Pre-claim counseling is offered within our policies. It's something that we actually have no deductible, and we don't charge anything extra for it because we believe that it not only helps our members, but it will help us also reduce the amount of money that we spend on closing claims. We get calls quite often for pre-claim assistance. A lot of our firms, however, I don't think actually are aware of the benefit that's in the policy. And they also may be a little hesitant to call us because they are afraid that if they call too often, we may increase their premium or perhaps not renew them one day. But it doesn't work that way. We actually appreciate our firms when they do call us because we do believe that it can help us avoid a claim if we get involved early. And just for samples, calls that we get run the gamut. A lot of the calls we get are about conflict of interest issues, whether or not our firm should continue an engagement, especially in divorce cases, whether or not they should represent, one spouse against the other. We also get calls quite often about client disengagements. We have firms that will go into a client's office, maybe they're doing the audit and the financial statements are a mess, the client's financials are a mess. There could have been some turnover at upper management and the firm is no longer comfortable with the client's management. So there are various reasons that they may want to disengage from a client. We also get calls about client acceptance, and normally with those calls, I tell our firm members that sometimes first guess is best. If you have a client that just kind of makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up, then it's probably a good idea to walk away from that client. You really need to look at the risks that you will assume by accepting engagement and also the amount of fees that you get. And if you look at your client inventory and your workload and your staffing issues as far as the number of hours they're working, et cetera, that it may not just, it may be worthwhile just to take a pass on accepting a client like that. So we get a lot of calls. Subpoena assistance is another thing that we cover. That sometimes it's a pre-claim issue, sometimes it's not. We have clients that are involved or they do work for a client. Maybe their tax records are subpoenaed or whatever. Some of their audit files may be subpoenaed. We definitely want you to call us because we need to get an attorney involved to help you answer that subpoena. Sometimes, those are just matters that involve third parties and they won't involve our member, but sometimes those are also fishing expeditions. So the earlier we can get a lawyer in or some assistance in to help them answer that subpoena, the better. That's a little different than the pre-claim counseling in that it is limited to $15,000 a year, but the $15,000 goes a long ways when trying to answer a subpoena. But that's also, I think, something that our firms need to take advantage of, and it's in the policy. And again, we don't hold it against you if you use that coverage. We actually encourage you to use that coverage. So please, if you're ever in a situation that you need our help, you're more than welcome to pick up the phone, give us a call, or email us. Either way, we'll be happy to respond. Once we get a phone call and then we understand exactly what the situation is, if we can't help you here in our office, we'll do one of two things. We'll either get Newgate Law involved, which Peter Fontaine does a lot of work for us in helping our firms, our member firms, with pre-claim matters. But also, if there is a situation that we think could turn into a claim, at that point, we like to get local counsel involved. Many of our members have already worked with some of our local counsel in their areas, because if it does evolve into a claim, we'd rather have somebody that's already familiar with the situation on board. But again, whether we're using Peter Fontaine, whether we're using local counsel, that's all on CPA Mutual's nickel. So we'd rather get somebody in there as early as possible to really try to help you guys avoid a claim and also help us reduce claim costs.